Good morning, and in this video we're going to talk about how to effectively leverage data as a software sales leader. Now this topic is really focal for me because during my last role as a VP of sales, I lived in a lot of data, right? We had a lot of different tools that leveraged AI to provide a rich set of insights, different pieces of data that I could look into for forecasting and to assess activity, leading indicators, lagging indicators, and everything in between. So at times, for some people, it can feel a bit like a maze, a bit of a data maze, right? And you've got to get to a point where you can actually truly distill down what's important. And that's really the message from this video, is that if you're a software sales leader, really fundamentally, there's only ever going to be a core set few metrics that really drive the business forward. So if we were to really simplify the life or the world of a software sales leader, you need enough pipeline in at the top, right? And then you need an effective closing rate to make sure that you feel confident about how much is converting. And then out the other end, that's going to generate your output or the amount of revenue that you're going to end up on. So when we really zoom out and fundamentally break this down, pipeline is really you optimizing for lead generation and your team's ability to generate net new demand in the marketplace. If you have enough of that, that can really cure almost everything else. If we then think about the closing rate of that team, that's really how effective they are in the field, right? So if you've got a salesperson that's closing 1 in 10 deals versus a salesperson that's closing 1 in 3, clearly that person who's closing 1 in 3 is doing something more effectively in the field and in their conversations with customers that the person who's closing 1 in 10 isn't. And if you optimize for those 2 data points alone, that means you're going to generate a great result out the other end, and you're going to be generating revenue. Now, in most of our worlds, we probably have 10, 20, 30 different data points that we can call on. I used to log into our CRM and our sales intelligence tools, and there was just an unbelievable amount of reports I can pull on. And don't get me wrong, I did leverage them and I did look into them and seek to understand how they could be helpful. But really, when it came down to crunch time, those 2 core metrics I mentioned were really fundamental to actually driving excellence for the sales team. So as a SaaS sales leader, what I would encourage you to do is look at this maze of data that you have, but then distill it down to the 2 or 3 metrics that truly actually move your sales team forward, and make sure that you get your team rallied around those core metrics, right? It's typically going to come down to making sure you have enough at the top, and then you're doing good enough activity middle of the funnel, developing your team, giving them the enablement that they need to then be successful. So sometimes it's actually simplicity that scales and complexity that can actually make it much more difficult, not only to scale, but actually to execute and to create the momentum that you need for your team to have them to be effective when they're out there ready to perform. I hope this video has been helpful in some way. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.